This is the way. Gina Carano sues Disney for Mandalorian axing, Elon Musk footing legal bills, that was a big surprise. We knew that there was we knew about her firing. It was a whole big deal. You know, she has since aligned herself with the right wing, and she's now a martyr. But Elon Musk footing a bill, I know why. It's obvious why he's doing this, and it's because of he and I believe she, as we'll read in this article, is seeing this as a First Amendment issue, which is Elon Musk's jam. That's his deal, being a First Amendment absolutist. But unfortunately, as I think we're going to get into, people fundamentally misunderstand the First Amendment. It's like people say, like, you can say what you want, but if you yell fire in a crowded movie theater, like, there will be consequences for that. It doesn't protect you from consequences when it comes to private parties, essentially. That's the big thing. It was invented for the so you can speak out against the government. That was why it was invented, as a fundamental aspect of democracy. However, if you start talking shit, it's like if you are in a business meeting and you scream the N-word and then you get fired, you can't sue them because you're allowed to say that. It'd be like, well, it doesn't align with our companies. We are allowed to get rid of you for whatever reason. When it comes to fired Mandalorian actress Gina Carano and Elon Musk, revenge against the Walt Disney Company is serving piping hot. How is this written? Even if it takes a bit of time and tries to snare Pedro, Pascal, and Mark Hamill. 3 years after ex-MMA fighter Carano was axed by the then Bob Chapek-run Disney. That's the guy who was the interim CEO during COVID, and now they've brought back the better Bob for comparing the political climate in America to Nazi Germany. Carano on Tuesday sued Disney and Star Wars shingle Lucasfilm. I've never heard it referred to as a shingle, but okay, I guess that makes sense. For dropping her from the Bounty Hunter series, and the ex-Tesla owner is paying for her lawyers. Quote, a short time ago in a galaxy not so far away, terrible way to start this, but okay, defendants made it clear that the only one orthodoxy in thought, speech, or action was acceptable in their empire, and that those who dared to question or failed to fully comply would not be tolerated. And so it was with Carano. So they're calling Disney the empire here, which by all accounts they are. I'll certainly give them that. Jedi of Hogwarts on TikTok. Yeah, the First Amendment really only protects speech against or criticizing the government or leaders. Yeah, 100%. That was the point of it. It's not so you can be racist. I don't love that they used a bunch of Star Wars references. It's really hard to take it seriously when you do that. Quote, the rule of law still reigns over the defendant's empire. Oh, more of this. And Carano has returned to demand that they be held accountable for their bullying, discriminatory, and retaliatory actions. Actions that inflicted not only substantial emotional harm, but millions of dollars in lost income. Adds the suit, which alleges wrongful discharge and sex discrimination. Oh, really? I just want to, we're going to get into this, but I will say that, like, she was given so many chances to take back what she said. As I recall, even the Mandalorian director, even Jon Favreau, like, personally asked her, like, dude, please take this back. And she was like, no. And they were like, okay, fine, then we have to do this, because it doesn't align with our company. And again, like, Disney is a publicly traded company. So it's not privately held where you can kind of stick to your guns. It's like you have to answer to your shareholders. And political turmoil is not good for stock price. Therefore, it's not good to your shareholders. Therefore, keeping her on would be ignoring the fiduciary duty that the executives have at Disney. So that is the process of reasoning that would lead to someone being taken out for this kind of thing. On February 21st, 2021, not long after the second season of The Mandalorian, co-starring Carano, had concluded on Disney+, Lucasfilm put on a scathing statement on its business with the actress. Quote, Gina Carano is not currently employed by Lucasfilm, and there are no plans for her to be in the future. Nevertheless, her social media posts denigrating people based on their cultural and religious identities are abhorrent and unacceptable. With the suit, Carano and the lawyers are hoping to call out Disney and Lucasfilm for reneging on a deal and sacrificing free speech. Again, not what free speech is. Quote, in addition to terminating her, defendants refused to hire her for roles already promised, including but not limited to season 3 of The Mandalorian, the new series Rangers of the New Republic, and planned future Star Wars full-length feature films, which have recently been announced, all because of her political beliefs and a disparate treatment from her male coworkers. So yeah, I'm not sure who she's alleging. I think it's because she's saying, well, Mark Hamill said all this political stuff, but it's like, yeah, he said political stuff like that aligns with the company's ideals. So that is the difference. The openly conservative Carano is also seeking to paint the new Bob Iger-run Disney as having a sexist double standard. Quote, defendants also discriminated against Carano by treating her differently from her male co-stars who also made public political statements on social media, the suit says. Quote, her male co-stars were not disciplined, let alone terminated in a way to destroy their careers, even though some would find their statements abhorrent. So again, it's not that you're not allowed to make political statements. It's that what she said, well, it's just that what she said does not align with Disney's values. It's like they're purposely ignoring that aspect of it. And I mean, this is very typical. This is very typical lawsuit nonsense. And frankly, also conservative brain rot of completely ignoring one very important pillar of an argument in order to trick the masses who are not going to think beyond the information you're presenting to them. No offense. Some offense. Offense. To that point, the suit spotlights posts and statements by Mandalorian lead Pedro Pascal and Luke Skywalker himself and Mandalorian 2 finale guest Mark Hamill regarding Donald Trump and the former president's policies being like those of Adolf Hitler and the Nazis. In language similar to references to Pascal, Carano's suit says defendants did not comment on, let alone publicly condemn, Hamill's social media comments. Well, yeah, they don't need to because they probably agree with it. Again, the issue is not that a political statement was made. It is the opinions within. Seeking a slew of damages in court order to get back to her Mandalorian role of Rebel Ranger Cara Dune, Carano took to social media today to amplify her long-delayed legal move, claiming her, quote, words were consistently twisted to demonize and dehumanize me as an alt-right wing extremist. The ex-UTA represented actress, the agency dropped her not long after this, also revealed that Musk is playing for her. I think they meant to say paying. I don't know. Today is an important day for me. I'm filing a lawsuit against Disney and Lucasfilm. After 20 years of building a career from scratch and during the regime of former Disney CEO Bob Chapek, Lucasfilm made this statement on Twitter, terminating me from The Mandalorian. Oh, Jesus, DeLong. Oi, boy. We should probably read this whole thing. Oi, oi, oi. Nevertheless, their social media posts are denigrated people based on a culture, as we talked about. Nothing could be further from the truth. The truth is I was being hunted down from everything I posted to every post I liked because I was not in line with the acceptable narrative of the time. Yeah. My words were consistently twisted to demon. Yeah, we read about that. Okay. Yeah. So it was a bullying smear campaign aimed at silencing, destroying, and making an example of me, she says. The thing is, I never used aggressive language. I shared thought-provoking quotes, pictures, memes, and occasionally I used my own words, not with aggression, but with respect and the occasional comedy to keep the mood light in dark times. I feel like we need to go back to what she actually said. I feel like the old article might say. Controversial social media. Is this going to have it? Sure. TikTok post comparing the current divided political climate in the U.S. to Nazi Germany. Jews were beaten in the streets, not by Nazi soldiers, but by their neighbors, even by children. Because history is edited, most people today don't realize that to get to the point where Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, the government first made their own neighbors hate them simply for being Jews. How is that any different from hating someone for their political views? So she's comparing the persecution that the alt-right is facing to the plight of the Jews in Nazi Germany. Oh, Jesus Christ. Look with your own eyes at what I posted and ask yourself, for example, where did I compare Republicans to the Jewish people in the Holocaust? I didn't. Ask yourself why they were calling me a racist. Was there any merit behind that or history of it whatsoever? No. Look at why I was called a transphobe for making droid noises from Star Wars. Beep, bop, boop. Was obviously directed to the online bullies and did not in any way denigrate transgender people. That part I don't know about. Jesus Christ. When I question about masks, lockdowns, and forced vaccines, okay to ask and push the subject into the light. Should he have been allowed to publicly discuss those topics at the time without being harassed or censored? Absolutely. Jeez. I mean, it's giving me, oh, what? Guys can't go to the Capitol anymore? Well, you can't just go to the Capitol and hang out. What the hell? It's like, it's different. It's very, very much problematic to our culture. Hollywood says that they support female representation, equal rights. It is so not about that. Why then were my male co-stars permitted to speak without harassment and re-education courses or termination, but I was not afforded the same right to exercise my freedom of speech? Again, it's not a freedom of speech issue. You work for a private company. Private company. Artists do not sign away rights as American citizens. It is a fundamental misunderstanding of the First Amendment, and it's something that people also bitch about too when they get banned in live stream comment sections. Like you don't understand it. It's like this is private. You are in my chat at my discretion. Your comments are at my discretion, and your right to do that can be invoked in any way at any time, because I'm the one making the rules. In a private company, they're the ones making the rules. You can have a code of conduct. They can force you to sign a morality clause even. That's somewhat typical in the industry. So the fact that it's like the First Amendment, I don't know why people just refuse to understand what that actually means. And frankly, I think it's willful ignorance. It's like they know it doesn't apply, but they don't care because it's saying that someone is being silenced makes it sound like a dictatorship, which then they figure everyone's gonna be against and want to champion free speech. But it's like you just don't understand how it works. Artists don't sign away rights as men. I've spoken to all my co-stars since I was fired, and there's nothing but care and kind words between us. I respect their right to free speech and do not have to think the same on every issue to be their friends and work with them and know they feel the same towards me. Yeah, I don't know about that. A couple months ago, Elon Musk tweeted that if I had been fired from using the platform for exercising your right to free speech, he would like to offer these people legal representation. Oh, it was in response to that. That's what it was. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I forgot Elon Musk did that. He tweeted out that he would pay legal fees for that if you got fired for tweeting stuff. Quite the noble offer, but never in my wildest dreams would I have thought anyone would take on my case against Lucasfilm Disney. Still, I did respond with, I think I qualify, and 1,000 people agreed, but I did not expect anything. To my surprise, a few months ago, I received an email from a lawyer who had been hired by X to look into my story and many others. Turns out, after sending them as much information as I could gather these past few months, my now lawyers and X believe wholeheartedly in my case and are moving forward. I'd like to express my deepest gratitude, blah, 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 blah. As for me, I would like to pick up where I left off, continue my journey of creating and participating in storytelling, which is my utmost passion, everything I worked so hard for. It's been difficult to move forward with the lies and labels stuck on me, backed and encouraged by the most powerful entertainment company in the world. I'm grateful for someone has come to my defense. I think God bless you, every one of you. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, go fuck yourself, actually. Anyways, that's the Gina statement of it. Let's pick back up in this article. Disney's not replied to Deadline's request of comment, nor would I expect them to. Elon Musk's team was quick to confirm its financial support as a sign of X Corp's commitment to free speech. We're proud to provide financial support for Gina Carano's lawsuit, empowering her to seek vindication of her free speech rights on X and the ability to work without bullying, harassment, or discrimination. I don't know why they're bringing X into this. I wonder if this is actually going to make it more complicated. Because now in the suit, they could bring a lot of different stuff from. Oh, this is the thing. Thank you for finding that link, Arthur. Star Wars Mandalorian star Gina Carano accused of mocking trans people with she used droid sounds as her pronouns. Boop bop beep pronouns joke. She had faced calls to add pronouns to her Twitter bio. Common practice. However, in response to the demand, the actor added the words boop bop beep to her Twitter name in apparent ridicule of the conversation. She wrote, "They're mad because I won't put pronouns in my bio to show my support for trans lives. After months of harassing me in every way, I decided to put 3 very controversial words in my bio. Beep, bop, boop." I mean, she is making fun of it. She is. And calling it dumb via that is in itself, maybe I won't go as far as call it hate speech, but it's like making fun of what that means. Anyway, Victor, thanks for the hand hearts on TikTok. What a douchebag. Of course, coming off a big defeat in federal court in Florida, blah. Yeah, Disney lost they tried to get it thrown out, the thing against DeSantis. That's all that's bringing up. Anyways. But again, also, this is, when we look at this, Elon Musk decided, he offered to pay legal bills of people, but also you got to remember, this is a bit of a proxy war because of Disney's and Elon Musk's advertising issues. Like that meme we just saw where it's like the go fuck yourself. That was in particular him talking about Disney pulling ad funding and calling it blackmail. Like they're blackmailing him by taking away funding. So this is essentially a proxy war between Elon and Disney. You are allowed to do or say whatever the platform allows. So that's why, you know, he had issue with what Twitter would do back when it was Twitter, and he didn't own it because they wouldn't allow essentially hate speech. But and so now he's doing this. But again, it's like you can allow whatever you want on the platform, but X does not have the ability to stop you from getting fired for saying horrible things on that platform. And so again, that's why he was offering to pay legal fees, because he so believes in free speech absolutism. But I really truly do not believe in free speech absolutism. Like, you should not be able to just say whatever you want. You should. I mean, it's an important part of, I think, capitalism, that you have the ability to decide your own morals and ethics within the company and then be able to enforce it in your employees. I think that's very important. And I think, 9 times out of 10, nobody's affected by that, and everybody can have different political views, and it's not a big deal. It's just when you're a celebrity who's a face of a family-friendly, quote-unquote, property that is publicly traded, all of that kind of disqualifies you from being able to say whatever the hell you want without consequence. And to think that there would be no consequence is, I think it's just, I'll just say it's dumb. It's like disingenuous to think that nothing would happen. It's almost like tempting fate. Asking them and be like, what are you going to do? Come on. I dare you. I dare you to try to shut me up. I think also because a lot of conservative people have the sense of like, I'm saying out loud what everyone's thinking. And then they find out that it's not what everyone's thinking. And they're like, where'd everybody go? Why isn't there a crowd behind me cheering? I'm confused. I don't know what ultimately is going to come of this, but I do think regardless of whether she gets a check or not, I don't think they can force them to hire her back. They would just write a check. The way the legal system works here is definitely as historical precedent. It's all about precedent. If you can point to another legal situation in which this thing happened or this ruling happened, then that wildly strengthens your case. If you just watched recently the Trump's hearing in the Supreme Court to try to have Colorado take him off the ballot, all of the entire conversation that the lawyers were having with the Supreme Court, it was all about historical precedent. They were literally going back to like interpreting these different laws and documents based on the Civil War and trying to guess about what they meant based on historical precedent of different cases. But this is definitely one of those cases where it's like, I wonder if the resolution of this will create historical precedents, which will then be used to protect other people who have been, quote unquote, wrongfully terminated. But I think it's ultimately going to come down to what her contract said. I'd be very curious if there was, I don't know if there was a morality clause, but I do suspect that there was we can get rid of you for any reason whatsoever, although that's sometimes hard to defend in court. I suspect that Disney has a wild contract with these people, especially when it's someone like her who, yeah, she's had a 20-year career, but like she was MMA turned this. So I would suspect that it's the first people in the industry that get the most screwed on contracts. And I wouldn't be surprised if hers was not as ironclad in her protection as it would have been for someone maybe like Pedro, who's been A-list for a little bit. So yeah, I don't know what the turnout of this is going to be, but I'm going to follow this hardcore. I'm super curious what's going to end up happening with this. Super, super curious.